Hey guys, it's Eric from Eric's Album Reviews, and we're gonna do a collection update right now. It's actually our first collection update now that I think about it. It's pretty cool. So basically, a lot of stuff has come in recently. So much so that I've divided this into two parts. The first part's gonna be cassette tapes and CDs. The second will be vinyl. If I mention something, like if I mention like the Relapse Records stuff or any Equal Vision stuff, I won't put that in the collection updates because you've seen it already now. So this will be for other stuff that's come in that you haven't seen yet. So I'll get started. But before I get started. I actually have my tray list on my computer right now, so if I forget something from looking up something, it's just to let you know like what's limited to or something like that. If I forget how many copies were made of that pressing or whatever. But yeah, anyway, so I'll get started. So the first one is a cassette tape. As you know, this is cassette tapes and CDs. This is the Despondent cassette tape, Awakening the Elder Gods. This is 54 out of 100, and there's only one pressing, I believe. So yeah, and it's clear with this kind of cool red tin on the inside. It repeats the album on both sides. It's only like a 4-track EP. So basically, the story behind this is that there's this really cool auction thing I found on eBay a few weeks ago. Actually, this stuff I won from that because there were like a bunch of auctions going on from the same seller that was selling all like brutal death metal and deathcore stuff. So I won some things, I did win other things. But basically, there was a Despondent tape. It wasn't this one? It was another album. It was, I think, Insanity. Again, I'm so bad with names. Insanity something. But it's kind of like a compilation of all the releases, so it had some songs off this release on there. So I didn't really know Despondent. I just saw the cassette tape was selling for like almost nothing, so that's why I kind of put like bids on it. I didn't win that one, but then I found this one also on eBay for like $6. Ended up buying it just blindly, and it's been like really interesting. It's a little odd, not gonna lie. Like, when you listen to it, the first time you hear it, you're gonna think it's terrible, like just absolutely god awful. But if you give it multiple listens, um, it'll definitely grow on you, and you'll find it's actually kind of like a little new, a little interesting, and actually like in my opinion, like kind of like the most interesting kind of it's like deathcore or maybe brutal death metal I've heard recently. I definitely would suggest though if you listen to it, don't base your opinion off just one listen, because when I first heard it, I thought I hated it, and I thought I kind of regret buying it in the first place. So definitely give this at least a few listens. I'd say by five if you don't like it, then you just don't like it. But it will definitely grow on you the more you hear it, 'cause it's just so different, so out there. Plus the artwork itself is really cool. It's like this kraken kind of thing attacking the city. So I definitely think that it's something brand new, something that's kind of a little out there, a little push the boundaries of what you think is kind of, like the, not generic, but kind of, I guess, radio friendly deathcore, if that's even a thing. But it's definitely interesting. I like it a lot. So again, that's Despondent, Awakening the Elder Gods. And again, if someone wants something in the description, or if you guys forget what I mentioned, I'm so happy to give you guys links to check out stuff. Next up, I got I Declare War's Songs for the Sick. I almost said that wrong. I'll do the CD first. I haven't opened up yet. Basically just because like the CD seems pretty rare to me. I saw it got repressed once on merch now. So I've been kind of just afraid to open it up since I think it's like kind of a rare item that I have. And then yeah, it just says Songs for the Sick on the side and has its own little thing on the side here as well. Um, so yeah, so basically I Declare War, I think, was either dropped or they completed the contract. I'm not sure, but they're not on Artery anymore. They're actually independent now, like not signed to anybody. Which I'm not sure if that's like a personal preference. I didn't really hear anything about the fact that they're unsigned now. I think they just were like, oh, we have a new album coming out, and there wasn't a label supporting it. Which I don't think they need it, honestly, because they've done a great job reaching their solid fan base with this new album. The material is great. I'm just not sure if it was a personal preference or if no one wanted them. If no one wanted them, that's a mistake because this album's great. Um, and then also got on a cassette tape as well. I'm not sure if this is intentional or not to have the whole um, black casing on it, but it fits it so well. It fits the whole, I guess, like, not vibe, but, say the whole like theme, I guess, of the album. This is the tape, limited to 50. The artwork is kind of stretched out to fit the size requirements of cassette tape. It has a gray case. The entire album is on one side, which I didn't really realize until I played it. But you kind of assume that because one side doesn't have a sticker, but the other one does. But yeah. So what I want to say about I Declare War before I put this away is whatever your opinion was on I Declare War, because I know a lot of people kind of used to, or still bash them as like very simplistic, just kind of, chug heavy deathcore, which is totally fine if you like that. But I Declare War is the last two albums, this one and We Are Violent People by Nature. That's so hard to say for some reason. But those last two albums, Songs for Sick and Violent People by Nature, are just absolutely great deathcore. It's very melodic, and also just kind of, I wouldn't say like quirky, but kind of just a little like there's a lot of atonal parts in it to make it kind of a little odd. It's still very simplistic. You're not gonna hear anything that's like groundbreaking. Nothing that's like just super progressive. It's basically just this really kind of I guess interestingly written, atonal slash melodic, if that makes sense, deathcore, and it's such a better evolution from what they used to be when they first started off. I mean, I know their whole lineup is totally different than it was when they first started. People even say they shouldn't even be I Declare War anymore because they have no original members, but I honestly love the progression of their sound. Even self-titled was good, but that was also very, very like breakdown heavy, very like 0011 heavy as far as the whole generic tab thing goes. But these last two albums have been phenomenal, and I can only see them getting better from here. So whatever your opinion was on I Declare War, at least just give this album like a listen through. If you still hate it, that's totally fine. If you love it, that's great. I'm glad you love it. But yeah, I just whatever. If you had like a bias on them before, you haven't checked the new stuff, definitely give it a listen because it's absolutely great. Next up is Master Boot Record with the Edit.com cassette tape. Oh, some dust on it, my bad. Edit.com cassette tape. So Master Boot Record, I found them on Bandcamp. Basically, it's this really kind of crazy electronic kind of metalcore inspired like music and stuff like that. So it's all electronic recorded, but it really has like the same form as like metalcore and stuff like that, with like almost like breakdowns with these like synth stuff. I'm pretty sure the guy who records this like hooks up his, I think, guitar to, I'm honestly not sure the process, but I think it goes through like some kind of MIDI, which then goes through some kind of like compressor slash like synth that he made or something like that. Then it becomes this crazy electronic sounding guitar tone almost. It's pretty bizarre. It's also kind of 8-bit sounding too. So like the whole 8-bit kind of music, or if you see like the 8-bit covers of bands like Chelsea or whatever, you're gonna love this. And it's really cool. I love the whole theme of it too. If you kind of check out the inner kind of J card, it has a lot of kind of computer code kind of theme stuff like that. It's really interesting. Like I definitely really dig it. Unfortunately, Edit.com tape is completely sold out. Other releases though are still available on tape and vinyl. And of course, you can get digital download at the Bandcamp. But definitely check this album out. Ooh, almost just dropped it. Definitely check this album out because it's something that's just so brand new and so kind of revolutionary, where it's kind of combining this mixture of 8-bit kind of old school electronic music and modern day metalcore. It's innovative to say the least, and I'm so glad I found it. I was just bored on Bandcamp one day, which I do often actually, and I found that release under a few different metal tabs. So if you think it's something that you might like, definitely check it out. And I'll throw a link in the bottom too as well if someone wants to check it out. Next up, Matt Thorne, good friend of my bad. No Problemas in Chile, San Diego's Power Lunch Recordings. Almost got that mixed up. But anyway, Matt Thorne, good friend, runs that label. I picked up a few tapes recently from him. First one I got is the Twin Pines Mall and Acid.rar Human Capital tape. Basically, it's actually really cool case, actually. It's this kind of weird, like, the J card thing is very shallow. You can kind of see that. Kind of stops right there rather than up here. And yeah, this actually is probably my favorite, or one of my favorite releases they've done recently. It's sold out insanely fast to the point where he's done 3 pressings now. I got the second press, it's the Redundancy Edition. But the other one were Break Room and Employee of the Month. And basically this is just, it's great Vaporwave period, but it's kind of, I guess, business aesthetic, or kind of like, office space kind of aesthetic, as you can clearly tell from the artwork. There's a lot of really cool jazz samples in here, a lot of also really cool kind of these like not spoken word samples, I'm saying, but audio samples of people who are talking about business, or just, I wouldn't say business things, but business related audio tracks, I guess is the best way to talk about it. But the whole aesthetic of this, the whole vibe of the entire album is great. I didn't really know much about Twin Pines Mall or Acid.rar before this, but Powerlunch Recordings actually, even though you might not know the artist, is actually doing a great job with selecting what releases to put out. In my opinion, they're kind of trailblazing, the whole innovative and the whole kind of expanding, I guess, the limits of Vaporwave and stuff like that. They've had, like bluegrass samples and Vaporwave stuff, so like bluegrass wave, whatever you want to call it that. They've had country songs turned to Vaporwave songs. They've had ambient stuff. They've had, different really cool aesthetic things like, office space theme stuff. Like basically, in my opinion, they're kind of redefining or kind of adding on to and evolving what Vaporwave actually is, and I really admire everything they put out. Like, especially lately, I haven't seen anything that's like really terrible at all. I think it's been like very interesting and very unique and almost kind of innovative as well. So I definitely think that, anything you hear from Powerlunch is great, especially if it's Human Capital. And I'll leave a link to their Bandcamp page for sure, and the link below. Because whatever tapes they have left, I know a lot of the tapes kind of sell fast. They're very limited. This one, if I can pull up my trade list. Sorry about that. This one I think was limited to 20 or something like that, or maybe 12. I think it was actually a lot less. Yeah, this is only 12 copies, so that's why it's sold out by now. There's one left that I think was out of like 12 or 20 that's still available, but they tend to do very, very limited stuff. I bought things off their label that were only out of 8 copies or out of 12 copies, so you kind of have to act fast with those situations. But yeah, anything that you see on their label is either innovative, extremely creative, or just flat out just great. So Power Lunch Recordings, absolutely fantastic. Definitely buy from them. Next up, also from Power Lunch, is I think it's High AFU or something like that. Is how you pronounce their band name. I should say this before every time I talk about Vaporwave. I can't speak Japanese. Well, I don't read Japanese. I don't even take that out of context. I can't read Japanese. I can't speak Japanese. So I have no idea a lot of times what these albums are about. I have to look it up later or something like that. But basically, this album had like an English title part of it, which is like the most precious Pepe or whatever. I just like love the whole meme about that, so I just had to pick it up. And after listening to it once through, it was fantastic. Basically, just kind of like it's what you think it would be. It's meme inspired Vaporwave, so all the aesthetic is themed off that, and just sounds like your traditional kind of, I wouldn't say future funk, but somewhat similar to that as far as Vaporwave goes. It's pretty fun to listen to. That's also sold out as well. I'm pretty sure that was out of that was out of 30 actually. That's right. That was out of 30. They made 2 variants, made an orange and blue one. I got the blue one. The last one I want to talk about is one that just recently came out by Azure Sands. This is Inner Journey. And it's basically kind of like meditation themed ambient music. I love ambient music, obviously, from being a huge fan, no problema. So when I saw this, I had to get it. So yeah, it's on a white tape. And Azure Sands is probably the most versatile artist in Vaporwave right now. He actually did the American Truck Songs 8. He did Inner Journey. He's done other kind of creative, almost innovative, or actually definitely innovative stuff. Like I said before, the American Truck Songs 8 is the country album, or the country themed Vaporwave albums. It's like country songs, and slowed them down and kind of took samples to make their own Vaporwave album. And he was part of that. So he does everything from ambient music, as you can see, to taking like trucker songs and turning it to Vaporwave. So without doubt, Azure Sands is, I'm hoping I'm saying that right, Azure Sands is probably the most versatile artist in Vaporwave right now. He's just pushing him and Power Lunch are pushing limits of Vaporwave and coming up with new ideas to make songs rather than just taking the usual 70s, 80s jazz or pop songs and remixing them. He's taking just things that you might even expect to see in a Vaporwave and just totally using different aesthetics, using different kind of forms of plunderphonics, and it's fantastic. So if you see his name on anything, I'll put it closer. Azure Sands, or if you see anything by Power Lunch, just listen to it because it will probably be something that's definitely memorable or at least good. Alright, and a few things left. So like I said before, I did that whole auction thing. There's a guy based out of Russia, and he had a ton of stuff from deathcore and brutal death metal related stuff for sale. A lot of really, really rare stuff. I saw, there's one thing that sold for like about like $50+. It was Abominable Protrudities, Anomalies of Artificial Origin, but it was like a demo version of it, only limited to 5 copies with this like different kind of artwork and stuff like that, and it was insane. I wish I picked it up, but I just did not have the cash to buy this stuff and other stuff as well, so I had to kind of narrow down like what I wanted the most. But he had some really, really cool stuff that I have never even seen be sold before or have seen other people own before. So I wish I could have got the whole auction list total, but I ended up getting 2 things. I'll do the lesser one actually first. The first one's a CD. It's Omnipotent Hysteria. It's their promo from 2015. I actually didn't really know anything about this slam metal band until I saw it for sale. I checked it out, and it had like the most generic kind of slam metal snare. It sounds like actually just like an empty bucket just being hit over and over and over again. So I was like, this is perfect. This is just what you think slam metal would be. And yeah, like it definitely just seemed wicked fun to listen to. It was like $3, I think, to pick up this demo CD, which is pretty hard to come by. So there was no reason why I didn't want to get it. When I first bid on it, it was like being sold for like I think like 20 cents. So I put a bid down for that, and then eventually someone tried out bidding, but it wasn't going to happen. I was definitely coming out with this one, unless I got something crazy expensive. But yeah, basically just really fun to listen to, just to kind of what you expect out of a promo for a slam metal band. And yeah, I haven't really checked out anything else by them, just the promo. But it's good. It's fun to listen to. Nothing good, nothing bad, nothing like too out of I guess slam metal's kind of form or song structure. So yeah, just a solid slam metal release. But the other one I was so insanely excited to get. This has been like a holy grail, most wanted kind of item for a very long time for me ever since it got released. I mean, it only came out like about a year ago, but it's been so hard to find a copy since then. And it is Infinite Annihilator's the Elysian Grandival Galar. It's so hard to say this album name. Grandival Galark. This is the second album from Annihilator. In case you didn't know, the members went on to go into Black Ton and Enterprise Earth. This is the original project they worked on. This one features Dickie Allen, who was in Abiotic. And actually, not gonna lie, I can't say I have a favorite because I do love Dan Watts as well and Enterprise Earth. We did the first Annihilator album. I can't even really pick which my favorite Annihilator album, period, but both of them are fantastic. Both have great vocal performances. And yeah, like it's just so hard to come up with any kind of first pressing of anything by Annihilator. Their CDs are hard to find, their vinyl's hard to find, and their cassette tapes are now hard to find. So I had to get it. Definitely paid like a decent amount for it. I might not say how much I paid for it, but it was worth it without a doubt. So it's a black tape with a really cool sticker on both sides like that. Sounds fantastic. Artwork in the J card is pretty simplistic. I'll show it to you guys, but it's basically just kind of like listing off like who's in the album, stuff like that. But yeah, like I said before, like I really can't pick a favorite vocalist or even album from Annihilator. But any release they've done, whether it's Papal, and I'm so bad at names. Oh my god, Papal Leprosy. I'm blanking on it. I'll look it up eventually. I don't know why I shouldn't know that. I really should know that, but it's just been one of those days. But anyway, whether it's the first album or Elysian, both Annihilator releases are great, and I highly suggest checking them out. You probably have checked them out before. If not, definitely give them a listen. All right, and last up, Sean James, aka Sonnig 991, released one of the first albums released through Business Casual, the Vaporwave album, or Vaporwave label. That's one of the most prominent labels. This is one of the first albums that came out in 2017 for that label. It's this really cool favorite album that actually takes a lot of RuneScape kind of themed MIDIs and synths that they used to make the original soundtrack, and he actually incorporates them in one of the songs on here. It's actually in Berlin. Was it Berlin Window? Yeah, Berlin Window Shopping Part 5 has some RuneScape theme stuff, and I was like, I love that. That was absolutely amazing to me. And the artwork is actually phenomenal. It didn't sound the way I thought it was going to sound just by seeing the album artwork, but it's still a great release. But actually, I missed out buying this when it was up on Business Casual's site. So I contacted the Vaporwave community Facebook page, and actually Sean James, who is Sonnig 991, the artist who wrote Lost Odyssey, which is the name of this release, contacted me. He's like, I have a few copies that I have because I wrote it for sale. So I bought one off him, and huge shout out to him for giving me this album because I love having this. But actually, when he sent it to me, he kind of sent me a bonus item, or I guess bonus album if you want. And it is a demo called Echo Jam's Odyssey. It has about 6 tracks on it. Yeah, 6 tracks. All of them not released before. All of them very different from Mallsoft Odyssey. It was actually like amazing to get because I got this kind of unreleased kind of material from him, and it sounds phenomenal. It's actually kind of cool because he's like, oh, these might become parts of future releases. Not sure yet, but. And I'm not sure if this might be the only copy in existence. I'm not sure if it is or not, but it's a really cool extra kind of gift. And being a fan of his music after discovering it recently, it's awesome to get some extra material that isn't released yet. But yeah, that's about it. So just a few CDs, a lot of tapes. I'll do the second part, which is vinyl stuff, very soon. Get that up as well. But yeah, if there's anything you want to know more information about, or if this you want to have links to buy some stuff that's still available, a lot of it is sold out, but I'm pretty sure I can find links to stuff that I talked about that's still for sale. So if you want information about that, let me know. I'll definitely add that to the description. Also, if you want to have links to check stuff out, like whether it's like a YouTube link or something like that, or a Bandcamp link, like for example, Master Boot Records, Bandcamp will definitely be in the description. Definitely let me know if anything that isn't included you want to have included, so you can go check it out. I'm more than happy to add that. But yeah, that was our first collection update. Thanks for checking it out. We'll see you next time.